around the pole, it's around the pole. The Paul Clemson podcast. It's around the pole, it's around the pole. The Paul Clemson podcast. It's around the pole.
Hey, guess who got a win on Saturday? It's the Clemson Tigers. Good to be back in the win column. Welcome to this live episode of Around the Paul. I'm Garrett Mitchell along with Cole Gerard and Caden Hughes. And fellas, I wasn't quite sure when we would see today again, but we went up to Chapel Hill and we got a win. And you know what I have to say, after everything this team has been through, that feels good to say.
Yeah, much needed for sure. Felt like we haven't won a ball game in a year since last season. But, you know, I knew we'd go out there and spark it eventually and, you know, beat up on a bad UNC team. But if you look at Clemson the past 5 games, we've been terrible too. So it was good to go out there and let it all out for once.
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, yeah, it felt like it's been a year because outside of the Troy game, it's been a year and stuff. We haven't beaten a Power 4 school since, like, what would it have been? SMU, yeah, and that's brutal. So it felt good to have that, and hopefully it can be a get-back game, and we can do better looking forward.
Yeah, guys, so the score 38-10, and Clemson covered the spread and really came out like a house on fire. And as we were just talking about before we began the show, man, I love the play call to start the game. I mean, just something to come out almost like a shock and awe and set the tone and make a statement. I don't know who called that play. Garrett Riley, Dabo Swinney, Franklin, I don't care. But, man, that was something to come out and start a play. And I don't know that we've seen Clemson be that aggressive in a while.
Yeah, well, Antonio Williams is 4 for 4 all-time passing for Clemson. So he's the best quarterback in history as of right now with 100 QBR. 2 touchdowns, 4 for 4 passing, though. So it's a great play call, especially to come out of the game with. After, you know, being 1-3, you don't know what you're going to do. I thought for a second until I saw TJ Moore stop and go, I thought it was just another little you know, screen pass. Like, here we go again. And then I seen TJ Moore downfield for the double pass touchdown. I was like, there we go. You know, starting off with a play call like that kind of makes you feel loose a little bit. It's like, dang, there's that offense, there's that creativity we've known we had, and just to finally see him play freely, you know, felt good.
Yeah, maybe Garrett Riley, like, having a little bit of pressure on him, a little bit of a shorter leash might be able to help him out because, like, there's a little more reckless abandon to that with that coming out of the gate with that as a first play, trying to, like, set the tone because it's like he doesn't have much more to lose right now, and so seeing him come in, be bold, and that pay dividends is exactly what you need from a coordinator in the position he's in. And so I think he called a good game throughout the entire game, and I was really happy with his first play call.
And we were talking about this, and we've harped on it from the beginning of the season that we want to see Clemson establish the run. They didn't have a huge game on the ground Saturday. I believe it was 81 yards or thereabouts as a team. But we were talking again before the show, UNC stacked the box. They were trying to take away the run, and that opened things up for the passing game. And Cade Klubnik, who by all accounts has been so maligned through the first 4 games of the year, granted, it's against a bad team, but at this point, you needed a game to create confidence. He was 21 of 23 for 254 yards and 4 touchdowns. And just for the most part, to see that accuracy, the decisiveness, and the decision-making, that was good to see out of Cade.
Yeah, like you said, against a bad team, but this Clemson team has not been special. So, you know, props to him. Like you said, 22 for 24, 254 yards, 4 touchdowns, dang near perfect. Other than that guy from Western Carolina who went out there and put on a show this weekend. But, I mean, just all around great offensive day, man. It was good to just see him, you know, feel relaxed in the pocket, bring it back to that third down play. It was like 3rd and 16, 3rd and 18. Contested ball to TJ Moore, came up with it, and then, you know, allowed us to go for the 4th down conversion to Bryant Westco. So just to see him, you know, play with some confidence finally, you know, that kind of gets the team going. So we'll try to keep the momentum going into Boston College.
Yeah, I mean, when I see 38 points scored, I'm not super worried about the run game not looking great, especially when the game plan was just so catered to needing us to throw the football and stuff. I mean, 2.9 yards per carry isn't awesome, but, like, we took advantage of the past game. Like you said, Cade had a near perfect game. We put up 38 points and stuff, and so I think the offense played really well, and I was I was happy with how we were able to adjust to North Carolina's game plan, even though it's not the hardest task in the world.
One thing when I watch the offense, particularly in the first half, granted you only scored 3 points in the second half. We'll get to that in a minute. But Clemson utilized the tight end on Saturday, and I think that's something that really, for the most part, really hasn't been discussed all that much in depth since Saturday afternoon. But Bentoncourt, freshman tight end, had a huge game and had 2 touchdowns. How good was it to see not only the tight end be incorporated into the offensive game plan, but to see your future at the position make such a big impact?
Kind of like Davis Allen out there again. Good to have a deep tight end room. I think we saw 4 tight ends play Saturday. Christian Bentoncourt, Ian Shefflin, Josh Sapp, and also Pat Henry. So that's a deep room. We haven't seen that in a couple of years. So, and like you said, the future of the tight end room, Christian Bentoncourt is going to be a guy to know for a couple more years. So, 2 touchdowns his first 2. So why not keep throwing the ball to him?
Our offense is so much better when we have a good tight end on the field. It's just tight end is a quarterback's best friend, especially a quarterback that's struggling and not living up to expectations in the way Cade is. I feel like there's a lot of 3rd and 12s in games, and a lot of quick, long down, unadvantageous down and distance situations and stuff. That just getting a tight end on a shallow cross, a quick hitch, just helps move the chains and helps us dink and dunk down the field. Because I feel like Cade is capable of pushing the ball downfield. But I like him when he's playing point guard and he was just distributing the ball to talented playmakers. And so having a tight end that can get an easy 4 to 7 yards at will is something that I feel like we've I don't even want to say lacked. We haven't really tried or haven't really tested as much as we should have this season. And it was really cool to see us play 4 tight ends, and all of them, I think they're all capable of certain roles. And I think we have 2 to 3 competent, reliable tight ends in a lot of different facets of the game.
Yeah, and what about Adam Randall? You weren't running the ball much. You didn't have a big day in terms of rushing yardage, but you still found a way to use Adam Randall in a way where he was productive. Caught several passes, had 2 touchdowns coming out of the backfield. That was good to see Adam Randall making an impact. And to me, it showed how multifaceted he is coming from that, being a receiver. If teams are going to give you the run, he can run the ball. But if they're going to stack the box, he can still be a weapon in the passing game given his background. So if you can utilize him in multiple ways, again, it makes this offense far more dangerous.
Yeah, to see, transitions wide receiver, Adam Randall, rushing, he was only 8 carries for 30 yards. You get a receiving 4 catches for 73 yards, 2 touchdowns, like you said. And one of the good plays I saw on the wide open touchdown he had, they had a little fake screen. Wesco jumps in the air, acts like he's catching the ball, and here comes Adam around the back, touchdown wide open. So it's just good to see Adam, be able to utilize him at the wide receiver position, like he transitioned after the Texas game last year. So it was good to see the Clemson offense. We haven't seen it all year other than a couple of second halves, Georgia Tech, Troy, and came up short in the big game at Georgia Tech. But, like we said, it's a bad North Carolina team, statistically bad. But I'm glad to see him beat up on Bill Belichick. Come on, call it a timeout with 1 second left.
Belichick. I hate the Patriots. I can't shake that going back. You guys, I don't even think you were alive in 2004. I'm going to show my age here.
I was.
But, man, I still have very painful memories of 2004 Super Bowl with Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Broke my heart with the Panthers. It was a tie game. Adam Vinatieri kicked the walk-off field goal as time expired. My Panthers were that close to winning the Super Bowl, and I still have painful memories. So, yeah, bump Belichick.
Well, yeah, as a Falcons fan, I don't know how that feels to lose to Belichick in the Super Bowl, but I can imagine it can be pretty tough,
Oh, you're being
Your
facetious.
Falcons do that.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Well, we won't mention what the score was in that game.
At one point.
I get told that every single day. I wake up. Those numbers pop in my head when I wake up every morning. But
It's so traumatic. So traumatic.
It's the worst. You never get over stuff like that.
Well, one more point on the offense. I want to talk about the defense for a minute, but any worries at all, even with the backups playing, that Clemson only scored 10 points outside the first quarter and only 3 points in the second half? Because frankly, going into that ball game, I wanted a game where we beat somebody 60-3. I wanted to humiliate North Carolina for no other reason than this team needed to just go out and curb stomp somebody.
Yeah. 38-10, scored 28 in the first quarter, and then 7 in the second quarter, and then it was just 3 in the fourth. If you leave your starters in there for the whole game, it's about a 60-something to 10 ball game. Maybe they don't even score. Maybe it's just the field goal. The backups let up. No hate to the backups, but they let off the touchdown. So I think it's a bigger beatdown if you leave your starters in for sure.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it. I think it's a different era of football and stuff, and I don't think we're vying for a playoff spot, but just there's a respect element to just coming in and just crushing an opponent like North Carolina. To be able to say, like, hey, there is a significant gap between that caliber of ACC schools and us is important. And it's sad that we have to make that statement, but we should have. And it's not the worst thing in the world. But I would have kept them in for at least one more quarter. Try to hit 50 at least.
Yeah, but I will say on the other side of the ball, I want to talk about the defense for a minute. Teams have been attacking Clemson on the perimeter, and you saw North Carolina try to do that. And on the first drive, they had a little bit of success. They go down, they kick a field goal, but you get inside the 15-yard line, and the Clemson defense clamped down and held them to a field goal. And then, at least in terms of starters, North Carolina did not mash it great the rest of the day. And again, granted, it's a bad football team, but I was really happy with the way the secondary was able to kind of set the edges back there a little bit. It looked better than we've seen in previous games. The positioning and the effort looked better than we've seen.
Yeah. how about Tyler Venables leading the team in tackles Saturday? Shout out to him. But, yeah, defense was fine all over the field. I've been thinking about this since the start of the season. Why has Tom Allen not been on the field? Giving off that like Brent Venables energy, very fired up. And then you saw it versus North Carolina, and then it just playing with emotions. And we got him and Ben Boulware over there fired up on the sideline. So it was good to see that from the defense. And T.J. Parker and Peter Woods kind of get a good game under their belt. Devontae Capehart, Avion Terrell had a huge hit on Max Johnson. If Max Johnson would just laid a few 0.2 seconds later, it's a fumble, and then it was bad into the air. North Carolina had the first down on it.
Ashton Hampton too. I thought Ashton Hampton
got off a couple of blocks, made some good tackles, on third down. So it was good to see it. I don't think we had any takeaways though, but still a good day from your defense.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you stole what I was gonna say. Tom Allen, he's an electric coach, and he's a very intelligent coach. But he's an electrifying coach. He's a coach that players buy into and stuff. And I don't know. He doesn't remind me of a up in the booth type of guy and stuff. You get a better perspective, a better angle. I think if I was coaching, I'd probably be that guy and stuff. I'd be up there trying to get that bird's eye view and stuff. But Tom Allen, he's an older guy, but he's kind of like Pete Carroll. He's young in spirit, and I feel like he can just go on the field. He can be excited, and he can be electrifying. Like you said, reminds me of Venables. We need to see that for the rest of the season, and it looks like we will. But yeah, that's honestly, the defense has been consistent, or at least consistent enough to where it's not the biggest issue for me throughout this season. And so I would say, if I were to highlight any change that makes me more excited about the defense, it would be that.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder why. Tom Allen is a fiery guy, and you heard the players all off season say how much they loved playing for him and how much they bought into what he wants to do. But then first 4 games of the year, he puts himself as far away from them as possible by being in the booth, which I just did not understand. And Dabo Swinney said he made the decision to come down to the field on his own, but I have to wonder if there wasn't a little bit of suggestion, let's put it that way, to come down on the field, because you saw the players, at least in my opinion, respond better to him being in their midst and in their presence.
Yeah, we heard Coach Swinney say early in the year that it was Tom Allen's decision to coach from the box just because he sees the field better. He's got the screen right in front of him. He can see the play. He's got an iPad, this and that. When you're sitting at 1-3, why not change something up? Why not try to get some good mojo, and you did. You saw a fired up DC on the sideline, making teams out there making plays. He's over there. He's meeting them on the field. Ben Bowler, it was at their Sammy Brown. It was a third down stop. Sammy Brown made a huge tackle. Ben Bowler was halfway on the field, and Dad was like, "Get back, get back." Didn't want to get a sideline penalty there, just to see people fired up again, man. Just made you feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just good to see an all-around game. And you mentioned TJ Parker. I saw him in on multiple plays on Saturday. I was so happy to see TJ Parker have a good game because it just felt like we weren't calling his name hardly at all. And this is a guy that was supposed to be a cornerstone of this defense and has been for the previous 2 years.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Cade. Would you answer that? Headphones.
Oh, yeah. Not bad. You got it. Yeah. TJ Parker, the expectations for him has been really high. And these players, college players, are so confused because college players are obviously they're only in college for so long and stuff. And these prospects, they come in and we have expectations for them so quickly and so immediately. I still believe in TJ Parker, and I think that sometimes it takes something as small as one game to turn things around for him and stuff. So if there's one player that I could say like that we could maybe turn around and see something different from after this game, it would be TJ Parker because he has the talent, he has the tools, he has the traits, and he had the production last year. And the only reason we haven't seen it this year could be it's a collection of a lot of things, but today it took a degree change, the slightest difference, and he was going to be a productive player and perform at the level we've expected. And so I think he's much closer in terms of capabilities to what he was last season than we might expect. And I expect him to turn it around for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me pretty well now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, TJ Parker hadn't really had the start of the season that he would want to, but good to see him flying around the field against North Carolina. Saw a lot of tweets saying, "Oh, he's going to fall out of the first round conversation." The film's already on tape. They're not going to take 3 games out of the season and punish him that way. So good to see him have a good game, and I think he's going to keep that momentum going. Peter Woods as well. They got double teamed a lot to start the year, and just to see them play freely and play good football was really good.
Hey, and Peter Woods, he isn't just a defensive lineman, man. You bring him in and turn him into a fullback on a 4th down play. You bring in the jumbo package, and you hand Peter Woods the ball, and I think he got 3 or 4 yards and got the first down. So he does more than just tackle people. You can feed him the ball too.
Yeah, I love the fridge package going all the way back to Christian Wilkins and guys before that. I didn't hate it. I thought for a second, 4th and 1, okay, you can trust your running back here and there. And then I see Peter trot on the field. I'm like, why not? Why not just do it? Usually I'd like to see that on like a 4th and inches or like a goal line situation, but ran it at midfield, so it worked. And if it works, don't fix it if it ain't broke.
That dates back to didn't that date back to did refrigerator Perry? Was that when we started doing that?
Yeah, early 80s. Yep.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time, and it's cool how football schematically evolves so much. But putting in a defensive tackle at fullback and giving him the ball, having him get 2 yards like that over 45 years, that hasn't changed. That's a really cool thing to see. But yeah, obviously Peter Woods he's the guy on the team to do it and stuff. And every season I always look at our roster and at the players, and I'm like, I wonder who the fridge package guys are going to be and stuff. And I think that this year, you can't beat Dex and Christian, but I think this year are as good as any for that specific formation, that specific package on offense.
Yeah, for sure. And tell you what, you talk about feeding the big man the ball. You can feed your game day crew with our friends over at Arden's Burger Grill. They've been one of our longest sponsors here on Around the Paul and Clemson Sports Media. So for all of your game day culinary needs, head over to Central South Carolina, just down the road from Death Valley. Catch our friends at Arden's Burger Grill, and you can tell them the crew from Around the Paul sent you. Got to get their wings. They're the best anywhere, but also their burgers and hot dogs are exemplary too. So if you want to feed yourself and your game day crew, get over to Arden's Burger Grill in Central South Carolina. All right. Well, it's a good win on Saturday. You got off the snide. You put 38 points on the board. It's the first time this team's hit 30 all year. So now you turn the page. You go to Boston College on Saturday. Boston College coming in at 1-4. They're not a good team, just like North Carolina. They're not good. It's another perfect setup for Clemson to go in, jump on a team early, and continue to get their groove back. And not only that, but get their record back to 500.
Yeah. People say, "Oh, well, Clemson's going to beat up on the bad teams, this and that." If that's what it takes to get this team going and to get this offense fired up,
Yeah.
this defense rolling again, why not?
You got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. Traveling to a 1-4 Boston College team who just got destroyed by Pitt and benching Eli Holstein for the freshman at Pittsburgh and just absolutely had a career day. So, Clemson's got the edge in this game. Going there fired up early. Obviously we're not going to see the trick play again first play. But if you can sneak it in there at some point in the game, do it, please. Good to see stuff like that. So, start early, put up some points, and I don't know if this is a hot take to some Clemson fans, but hammer the pedal all game. I mean, now if you get, I don't care. 38 still not good in my books. It is actually after having a 1-3 start, but go put 70 points up. I mean, let's embarrass them. I mean, I'm tired of being nice to people because people have not been nice to us this year. So, go out there.
I feel like over the years, Clemson's been too nice to people. Go out there and embarrass somebody. Somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb. I thought it was going to be North Carolina. Make it Boston College.
Yeah. I'm not going to go back to the North Carolina game, but for instance, when Belichick calls a timeout with like 5 seconds left, and he called number one.
God.
Jeremiah Alexander almost had a pick, and I said to myself in the stands, I said, if Jeremiah would have called that pass, with him calling timeouts down 30 with 5 seconds left, I was airing it out first play just to see if we could score again.
Yeah.
But I mean, going to Boston College, get an early start. I mean, if you start on defense, force that first 3 and out. Let's go out there and air the ball out, score a touchdown, and just keep the momentum going. Because after Boston College, I mean, you got a pretty decent, they're 3-2 SMU team at home, and then you got a bye week, and you're playing a really decent 4-2 Duke team. So it's going to get tougher going down the road. So why not go in here, beat these bad teams up, and get some good move?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston College hasn't won since, was it Fordham? I've never heard of the school they beat week 1, but they killed them. They've been playing terrible since then. It's not a very good ACC school and stuff. I mean, I have Clemson has more wins than I do correct Clemson picks this season. So I'm definitely gonna try to get that record back this week, and hopefully I can have an easy one this week. But yeah, I mean, I'm not scared of this Boston College team. And I think especially after showing that we showed competence against North Carolina, and that went a long way towards me. At least the floor of this team has been elevated greatly since last Saturday for sure, and is far and away above what anything I've seen from Boston College this season.
Looking at real quick, Garrett, sorry, Boston College schedule. Outside of this Pitt game that they lost 48-7, the 3 other losses they have are by 10 or less points. Losing by 2 points to Michigan State, losing by 10 to Stanford, and then losing by only 4 points to a pretty decent Cal team. So, I mean, you got to go in this game. You don't overlook anybody, obviously, with the year we're having. So go out there and just get started early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and looking at the stats, to me, Boston, the strength of their team is their passing game. You've got quarterback Dylan Lonergan. You've got 1,277 yards. He's thrown for 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And then you've got some decently talented receivers out there. Lewis Bond, he's the leading receiver at 366 yards. But you got 2 more in the 200s. You've got Reed Harris at 285, Jeremiah Franklin at 244. And you've got 6 receivers total that are over 100 yards. So Boston College wants to put the ball in the air, and I think given the recent track record of Clemson's secondary through the first 4 games at least, I would imagine this is going to be their game plan. I would think Boston College is going to live and die by that.
Yeah, kind of North Carolina did the same thing, tried to throw it all over the field. Max Johnson just did not work. I can't believe that Max Johnson played every snap in that game. Obviously, Gio Lopez was hurt, but I mean, if something wasn't working, you gotta flip to something else. But I think Boston College is going to try to keep it in the air as long as possible. The run game is not very good at all, and the secondary of Clemson, other than a couple games, has not been the best. So if I'm Boston College, I'm hammering the air. But this might be a good time for that Clemson secondary to get those takeaways they need. Put up some interceptions on the board.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we had a segment earlier talking about how the run defense to the secondary was really strong in this UNC game, and I hope that next week we can be talking about how strong the pass defense was in this Boston College game. Because if there's any way Boston College upsets us, I think it would be a Syracuse-esque type of upset. Which, I mean, that game. Like Syracuse is a much better team than Boston College, but just something where the coach has something up its sleeve we don't expect, and they're able to drive the ball way too easily against us. And I would not predict that at all. But if you're telling me right now that it's a week in the future and Boston College upset Clemson, it would absolutely have to come through the air. And I think if we neutralize that, I don't think there's anything else Boston College can do remotely similar to our level of play.
All right. Well, we got the win out of the way last week. You kind of got your groove back a little bit, and I think we're all in agreement that we should go into Chestnut Hill and win on Saturday. So before we end this thing tonight, let's throw out some predictions. And, Caden, good news for you. You no longer have to pick against Clemson.
Yeah. Maybe I still will. No, I'm just playing.
All right. Let's hear it. Caden, since you're not picking against Clemson anymore, let's hear it. We'll go right to left.
Yeah. Okay. I have the Tigers. I mean, yeah. I was happy to be wrong and stuff. Low-key, I was thinking about it. I was like, it's kind of nice picking against Clemson because then when you're wrong, it feels great, and then when you're right, you at least get to be right and stuff. A little bit of
it's reverse psychology.
Exactly. I jinxed Bill Belichick. I said that this is going to be Bill Belichick's get right game. It was going to be against the Tigers. I think it was a good reverse psychology for sure. But no, I 100% have the Tigers in this game. I feel nervous being this confident with the season we've had, but I am really confident in this game. I would be the most shocked I've been all season if we lose this game. We've had some shocking ones and stuff. But if you want to score a prediction, I think we'll take the starters out again, but even though I don't want us to. But I'll go 34. I'll go 34-6. I mean, defense don't let them score a touchdown.
Hey, look, before Cole gives his pick, it really, in some sense, it was a get-right game for Bill Belichick. A get-right back in the loss column game for Bill Belichick.
Obviously, going with Clemson here. Had a big, huge win against North Carolina. Offense and defense went out there and played strong. So give me the Tigers. I'm going to go 48-13. I'm going to go two early field goals, and we're going to go a garbage time touchdown for them. So 48-13 on the road, get back at home and play SMU the next week.
I'm going to kind of split the difference offensively. So, Caden, you said 34, and Cole, you just said, what was it, 48?
48.
So, all right. So I'm going to split the difference. I think the defense plays well again. I just think they're a bad matchup for Boston College. I think you see a few more points for Clemson in this game. So I'm going to say, I don't think they hit 50, but I'm going to say Clemson 42, Boston College 13.
I like it.
Yeah, I like all these outcomes.
Cliff 42-10 Tigers. So
yeah, Cliff lurking there in the background, running the show. He's the shadow partner. He's back there running the show. Yeah, Cliff says 42-10. So he and I are thinking alike on this one.
Hey, don't forget. I did almost get the score right at 38-10.
Yeah.
I called it 34. I called it 34-10. I did call 34-10.
Yeah, there you go. So you got the 10 points. Cliff got the 10 points right, but it was only 4 points off Clemson. So well done. Now go buy me a lottery ticket. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Any final thoughts on last week's win or game this week?
Go out there and hammer it down.
Yeah, I agree. Put the hammer down, all gas, no brakes. For the love of God, humiliate somebody. And I have absolutely no ill will or animosity toward Boston College whatsoever. I think they run a class program. Somebody's got to be it. Somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb. Go out there and destroy somebody.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us on this live episode of Around the Pause. Always, we appreciate everybody who is watching live or who will go back and watch it on YouTube later. We appreciate you so much. Thanks again to Arden's, our sponsor. And I'm Garrett Mitchell, along with Caden Hughes and Cole Girard, as we sign off, as always, by saying Godspeed, God bless, and go Tigers, because it's always a great day to be a Clemson Tiger.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
See ya.
It's around the pole, it's around the pole.